Dr. Beasley, what did you just say?
Okay. You take a kid who goes to VOTEC or community college, becomes a plumber. Okay. And so by the time he's 30, he's got a good plumbing business going. Now, that kid who goes to college at 18 and goes to medical school and goes through his residency and opens up his family practice when he's 30, that plumber is making more money than him.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond Risk and Back. I am your host, Aaron Huey. Thank you, parents, for being here. As you have heard, I have Dr. Beasley on, and we're going to talk about college. This guy, he's going to be our go-to for understanding how to get into college. Now, I know that's loaded for my listeners. So parents, you are in the right place. If you are stressed about school, if you are stressed about what your teen who's at risk or beyond risk is doing and how it's going to screw up their college plans, or better yet, parents, your college plans for them, then we're going to ask Dr. Beasley all the right questions. My name is Aaron Huey. Please listen, like, subscribe, and share to Beyond Risk and Back. And if you love today's episode, please leave us a review over there on iTunes. It really does help other parents find the support to support their children. Dr. Beasley, welcome to the show.
Yeah, hey, great to be here.
This is great. Look, I got parents who are scared and terrified that this college thing is not going to work out for their kids. And they might have all the evidence that they could set in front of you to prove it. And I need them to hear the truth from you. Off the air, you told me about your 4 kids. You told me about your wife, college, all of it. Give us the 411 on Dr. Beasley. Who are you? Where'd you come from? And why are you doing what you do, sir?
I attended the Marine Military Academy for high schools, boys boarding school for Marine Corps. I received an Army ROTC scholarship and plus 11 other full scholarship offers. I graduated early, by the way, started college at 16. Attended Texas Christian University, was commissioned in the Army, but took a delay, went to graduate school for a while, finally went on active duty. I seem to have hit a vein in the Army. I was at 23 with 2 years in the Army, the youngest commander in Europe. I commanded artillery unit, 18 Hiroshima-sized nukes, 200 troops. Well, at that time, I was the youngest commander in Europe of that size of a unit. Rotated back to the States, got in the real estate business on the side, and then got my master's degree. Did my master's degree in 50 weeks with 7 other guys. I always tell people, Placido Domingo and Dinah Shore spoke at my commencement when they shake my hand. Okay, I went to Oklahoma City University, did it all in 1 year. I did that in order to be marketable when I left active duty. So when I left active duty, I worked at the Federal Reserve Bank, started out as a training specialist, went all the way up to strategic planner, wrote my doctoral dissertation on the Federal Reserve Bank. Also went to seminary in there and got a doctorate in Greek and Hebrew. Went to Caltex Petroleum, was international management consultant. And then I did something really crazy. I decided I could coach high school football. So I took an 82% pay cut. That's the 1994 3A state championship ring, coached high school football. And then I ended up starting my own school. And we rented a Sunday school room, started with 7 kids. And then it grew ultimately until 2010 that we had 22 college prep academies from Springfield, Massachusetts, to Hot Springs, Arkansas, to Palm Springs, California, and it got too big. And so we downsized and we focused strictly on college preparation and mostly post-high school, because a lot of times, about 20% of my clientele base are people who are not going to go to college. We went to that route, and then since then, we've helped people get over $300 million in different types of funding that you don't have to pay back.
You are an expert at helping kids get into college.
Get in and get it paid for. People come to me primarily if they want to go to a high-profile school, an Ivy League or something. They want to go to a military academy. They want to get a scholarship. But they want to find a way to simply save money going to college. Right now, college is the single largest investment a family make for the first kid. And it's going to be more than their house. So you got to figure out a way to pay for it so you don't go into debt up to your eyeballs. Because right now, most of the kids who are going to high-profile colleges taking out $60,000 loans every year are never going to be able to pay it back. Their life insurance will pay it back.
I married a woman who had college debt, and we got it paid off. I got both my kids through college, and they have no debt. I'm not a college graduate. I'm a trade school graduate. I went to acting school. There is a paradigm of success that I want to spell out that I know a lot of the parents who are listening to this show, my audience, knows that the paradigm is in jeopardy at the very least and perhaps shattered, worst case scenario. And the reason why I brought you on is because I want to hear an expert on getting into college and getting college paid for tell my parents the truth about college. My dad was highly educated. My mom dropped out of college to have me. My mom is extraordinarily intelligent. My dad is a brilliant businessman. I didn't go to college. Both my brothers did. Both my children have. My wife's been to college multiple times, including graduate school. There's a dynamic at play here. My children both finished high school at community college and then transferred to one a state school, the other a university in Barcelona. And then my son, after his university in Barcelona, went on to a trade school, sound engineering. I've homeschooled, I've private schooled, I've public schooled, I've charter schooled, done Waldorf school. I've been a teacher in private and public schools, in charter schools, and like you, sir, I created my own academy for children who are in my treatment program. But parents don't want to listen when I tell them your kid can always go to college. Always. There's always a way. And they don't have to go now. They can go later. Why do parents struggle to break free from the paradigm of high school, college, job, success? Why can we not break this mold? Why is that not acceptable?
I don't know why they can't break it, but I have to spend the first session or two with my clients deprogramming them. I got to deprogram them from what they've listened to. I always know here comes the ration of fantasy. Okay. Somebody told me, I always heard that. I always thought that, Chicken Licken said, Cocky Locky said, Loosey Goosey said. Some people get offended when I bring this up. I said, the information you're getting, first off, I have 12 letters after my name. We used to joke that I'd have to have two headstones to get all my letters after my name on. So 12 letters after them. I said, don't talk to anybody with less than 12 letters. Everybody out there thinks that they're an expert on this, or they'll remember when they went to college. And I tell these people, the college you went to, it's not there anymore. Okay. Oh, the buildings are there. Okay. But that entire universe that you went to college with no longer exists. I mean, back when you went to college, people talked when they walked. Now they look at their cell phones and they text when they walk and bump into trees and stuff. I said, and you can't compare your college experience 20, 30, 40 years ago to what the kids are going through right now. Because if you go to a college campus, most of the kids who are going to that college are doing it online and aren't even in that campus. So the whole dynamics of college has changed. And, this whole thing of that you need to go to college to be successful. There's a lot of people who are successful, didn't go to college. 15 to 20% of my clientele, I advise not going to college. I'll give them an alternate pathway that if they want to have success, and always leaving the door open if they want to go back to college later. It's not really required. I mean, again, both of the boys, I have two girls, both of them had scholarships to college. Both boys I put in the Army.
At brabapp.com, I have posted a parenting masterclass. The content is everything I have ever taught a parent in the past 20 years of working with parents in crisis. But here's the deal. It's $99. So please go to brabapp.com, B-R-A-B for Beyond Risk and Back. brabapp.com, B-R-A-B-A-P-P.com. Check it out for yourself. Do you believe that anybody can go to college, even if they've dropped out of school, even if they've flunked out of school, even if they had to leave school on an administrative leave to go to treatment?
Okay. Significant portion of my clientele are returning adults. In fact, for a significant portion of my time I was a college professor, I taught returning adults. College is always an option if you believe that's what you want to do. Again, I shared the story with my wife that when I met her, was a high school dropout. And in her 50s, she graduated from Harvard with honors. She went to community college. She was Phi Theta Kappa in community college, which was the Junior College Honor Society, which qualified her for a scholarship to Harvard. I paid $596 her first semester at Harvard.
How easy is it to get funding for a student who has had significant failures, for lack of a better term, challenges in high school?
It's not very difficult. I mean, there's ways of getting the funding. Generally we start them out at community college, junior college. That's where we want them to go is start there because they've got the infrastructure to try to help the students, move forward. So we start them at community college. That's where my wife started. That's where one of my daughters started. We started them in community college. In fact, I've had 3 people graduate from Harvard who started out in community college, including my wife.
That right there starts to shatter that paradigm where it's like, community college is somehow lowbrow. Plumbing school has somehow lowbrow. I don't know if any parents listening has ever had to call a plumber on a weekend, on a holiday, and then look at that bill afterwards. Those are gold-plated tools in a brand new truck this guy is driving. So why is there this stigma? Let's start there. Why is this? It can only be one way, and these schools, where does this come from?
I think a lot of it comes from ego. A lot of it comes from keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, what happens right now, like this time of the year for seniors, I'm getting a flurry of clients telling me how their friends already got full scholarship offers. And I'm going, I don't think so. Or they already got admitted already. And I'm saying, no, somebody's starting it out with the telephone, like Norman Rockwell's telephone painting, and it started out that they applied. And by the time it got to you, they got the full presidential scholarship with a gilded private airplane to pick them up. And this whole thing just kind of grows. And in fact, I was notified today that one of my students was offered a $180,000 scholarship from a university in Vermont. And he's probably not going to take it because we're probably going to get better offers. But he will probably end up getting in excess of $1 million in total offers. And I've been working with this kid for 3 years. He's done the work. It's really the secret of getting good scholarships is simply doing the work. There are people who wish and they talk about and they make excuses, and you're not scholarship material if you're going to make excuses. I said, write down those excuses. And so when it's time to write your essay, tell them all the reasons why you should get the scholarship, but you didn't do the work. What happens is after a little time in my program, if you're not making progress, I drop you from the program. I said, tell the parents, I'm not taking your money anymore. Okay, I'm not taking your money for another month because I send you every Monday an email telling you how much work your kid hadn't done. So he's not a candidate for this program. He's not on the pathway. He's not doing the work. And I get this flurry of excuses. Okay, those excuses are not going to get him into college. You know, I thought about setting up a scholarship, $1,000 scholarship, for the best excuse.
Now we're starting to reveal the parents who are listening, their hearts are sinking with what you just said, because what these kids have are excuses. What these kids have are intentions. What they don't have is action, at least not in this direction.
I just was working with one of my students who part of her work was working with younger girls who had been sex trafficked and how we re-enter them into the education system. And one of the things and these girls were incredibly motivated to finish their GEDs so they could get into community college. And the thing is the student says, okay, I'm going to take this one step at a time. I'm going to take one course. I may take the study skills course, but I'm going to take the one course and I'm going to be successful in that. And then next semester, I might take 2 courses and build it up. You don't have to, graduate college at lightning speed. I mean, I had one of my students who was actually in my school, and now she's 31. She's had a baby, and now she's decided that she wants to become a nurse. And we're now at 31 getting her prepared to go to community college to become a nurse. So it's never too late to start. My wife was in her late 30s when she started. She started at community college and made it through community college and was accepted as a transfer student to Harvard. And then she just burrowed into it. She did 12, 16, 18-hour days, and she did the work. She only made 2 B's at Harvard. She did the work. Got motivated.
What gets a family motivated to start looking at the long picture of education versus has to happen right now after school, even though they've missed half of school for treatment?
You've got to let the student grow into it instead of the parents putting a lot of pressure on. And, I was dealing with the parent this last weekend, and she's pushing for her son to go to the Naval Academy. And I said, if you have to push him, he's not going. There's this little trap door that if you push him, that trap door throws you into the dungeon. People who want to go to get these big scholarships, go to Naval Academy, go to Harvard, they don't have to be pushed. Now, if you've got somebody, let's say they've had issues. I've had to deal with a lot of students with issues. I actually had a campus of kids who had Asperger's. I had a campus of kids who had Tourette's, and we even worked with kids who had Down syndrome. The Adopt a Mouse program was started with kids at one of my schools, and they developed the program to get funding for Down syndrome. We had a Down kid, actually got him into community college. Anybody who's willing to do the work, all you have to do is get in your mind, I'm going to do the work. I'm willing to do what it takes, as opposed to I'm willing to come up with these excuses. Okay, you may have a rough past and all that kind of stuff. Okay, that rough past does not go on your transcript. Only thing that goes on your transcript is what you achieve in college, and you have to put it in your mind. I'm going to do it.
Let me ask you about the rough past not going in the transcript. That's brilliant. As is, if you're pushing them, the trap door opens and the parent goes to the dungeon. I love that. Should the rough pass end up on your entrance letter, your introductory letter, that letter you send on why you should consider me?
No, actually, you don't do that. You don't. Okay, let me put it this way: 85% of the colleges don't require an essay. University of Alabama does not require an essay. If you meet the GPA and the test requirements, you're in. That's it. 85% of the colleges will admit you on metrics alone. In fact, University of Alabama, if you have a 3.5 and a 32 ACT, will automatically award you a $112,000 scholarship. I've had over 100 students get that scholarship. So, a lot of things that people, the myths that are out there, there's about 50 colleges that will give you up to a full scholarship just on your metrics.
When a college does require an essay, do you detail your past? Do you detail your recovery? Would you use that as part of your adventure and qualification?
It depends. If you are going the community college route, you're going to go on your metrics. You're going to go on your grades. Okay. You talk about your community college and your grades. You don't go on and try to go further back than that, and give, I was born in a log cabin and stuff.
When you do have a student who has had a checkered past and they finally come to you, maybe now they're 22, 24 years old, and they're like, yeah, I really screwed up high school. I never graduated. I don't have my GED. I've got most of my credits, but I want to go to college. What's the first thing you want them to do? Where should a kid out of recovery begin his college journey?
Now, I would start them in community college. Most of them will take some sort of what's called compass exam or entrance exam that identifies what they need. If they're in my program, we train them on how to make better grades and how to teach them how to read, study, test, and write better, faster, and easier. And we put them through our program. And then if they want us to monitor them, we'll monitor them with their classwork, make sure that they're successful. They go through community college. If they maintain a 3.5 or higher, that's Phi Theta Kappa, Junior College Honor Society. There's about 150 colleges that will offer a Phi Theta Kappa transfer scholarship. Harvard is one of them.
Do you help also place students back into high schools, or do you just put them right in community college to finish up their high school after a compass?
It depends on what they need. Most community colleges have a developmental or leveling program where you can go back and catch up on your fractions, decimals, and percentages, go back to your, pre-freshman composition. There's programs, remedial programs that you can do. And indeed, my wife did almost a year and a half of remediation before she took heavy-duty college courses at community college. She had to go back and, it's been a long time since she'd been in high school.
Is it true that kids who go to community college and get their associates tend to do better in regular college?
Yes, tend to be more mature. They tend to appreciate education a little bit better.
Knowing, as you and I have been discussing, that the parents listening to this show are feeling like their kids have just destroyed their educational opportunities. What are the prime message or messages you have for the families who are listening?
It's never too late, and you're never lost. You can always go back.
Do you suggest that someone has a coach or an educator like yourself to help them get scholarships and stuff like that? Or is this the type of thing they can do on their own?
Well, it's good to get some advice because most places they don't know where to look. And if they're over 26, they can file for federal student aid on their own. Don't have to use parents' income. And to go to a community college, you can get pretty much of it all paid for by your federal funding. Just about any state, any community college. They'll help you at the community college. Sometimes we give them advice on who to ask. Like sometimes we say, don't ask the person at the counter. Go find somebody with a door, a desk, and a diploma on the wall and a necktie. That's the person you want to talk to as opposed to somebody at the front counter who think they know.
Parents who want to get more information from you, look at some of your resources and materials, where are they going to find you?
Well, I'm at BeasleyCollegePrep.com, Beasley, BeasleyCollegePrep.com.
Parents, it's been 25 years of talking to adults with children who are struggling and having to reiterate the message that Dr. Beasley was giving us today of it's never too late. You can always go back to school. There's always ways to find money. I have worked with lots of families who have spent their child's college prep in recovery. As I was telling Dr. Beasley before we started, it's a lot of exasperation where parents just finally shelve the idea that college is even going to happen, or they say, college isn't going to happen because of the situation they're in or the condition they're in. We got to fix the situation or the condition before we can even start thinking about college. Both of those are what I'm going to call fear mapping. We are creating a map of our children's future from a place of fear. Again, the reason why we have BeasleyCollegePrep.com, Dr. Beasley, with us is because you have to see that what he's saying is true and real. You have to see that you can always go back. You have to see that you can always get money, that this, when you are working with your child who's cutting or running away, or you haven't seen in a week, or they're high again, despite consequences, the college thing is not something to bring to the table. It's not a pressure to add, not now. And as Dr. Beasley says, not ever. I loved what he said. If you push, a trap door opens and you fall in, not your kid. In my opinion, parents, that's pure genius. This pushing is for our sake, not theirs. We're tied up in what needs to happen next. And it's like a sacrifice play to suddenly give up on your dreams for your child's college if they're struggling with drugs. Lose the sacrifice play. You get support. You try to find anything and everything that can support your kid. And as I always say, you take care of yourselves first, your adult relationship second, and then your child, so that you can do your best work with your child. For your kid, college can wait. Doesn't have to be right now. Right now, let's get them healthy. Huge thanks to Deepen Productions for making the show sound great. Dr. Beasley, my guest, that's amazing. We need someone with 12 letters after his name telling us why we can relax on this thing. There's time and there's money. Dr. Beasley, before I sign off, I just wanted to say very much thank you for your service to our country and for your boys serving as well. Through you, thank you. I'll see you all next week on Beyond Risk and Back.